fear is a disease. A lot of people have fear. You either can operate from fear or from love. You can't operate from both.
Ladies and gentlemen,
you are now about to witness
the journey that is the Lyfe Choyces podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Lyfe Choyces podcast. Welcoming Jennifer Kaplan today. Thank you very much for showing up. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So we're friends of a friend who's been on the show before, Genesty. Shout out Genesty.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get right into it today. What do you do? And I know what you do, but tell the viewers what you do for a living.
So basically, I am a Pilates teacher, Pilates instructor, Pilates trainer. I really am just wanting to be an influence on everybody's life that I can come into contact with.
I have paid attention to your Instagram since we met. I noticed, your Pilates classes are usually quite busy. So you're obviously doing quite well at that. And the studio is located
in Cooper City, Florida. It's Broward County.
For any of you lifers out there that are watching that happen to be in the Fort Lauderdale area or Broward County, all of the information is down below to find out where Jennifer does her Pilates classes. And it's important to me that you said that, the way you look at it is you're not just a Pilates coach, because you are in an industry that touches people's lives, because people are making the decision to change themselves. And in order to do that, they're coming to you.
Absolutely.
And that's a huge compliment. It's also a huge pressure type situation as well, because they're looking at you for answers.
Right.
Because anyone that goes to a personal coach, personal trainer, yoga class, they kind of are expecting quite a lot of knowledge and change in their life from you as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
How do you, because that's a lot of energy coming at you on any given day from a multitude of different people who are probably in different modes of energy that day. So how do you react to all of that energy coming at you?
So basically, I try every day to be aligned in my true self or true purpose every day. I have a protection energy shield around me that's basically protecting me from energies that are a lower frequency than I'm vibrating at. So I'm actually able to now go down in vibration and then go right back up into my vibration. And a lot of the times I've known them for so many years, or they've been with me for so many years, whether they're training in group classes or personal training, because some of them do both, because they want me with the class and they also want me alone.
The one-on-one, absolutely.
Yeah, so I actually feed off most of the energy, and I used to get very upset because I thought certain people did not want to take my class. And I just realized recently that the universe puts people away that are not meant to be in my class, and maybe I'm not the person for them. I've gotten to where I'm making my schedule full. I'm a manager, I'm a personal trainer, I'm a Pilates coach, I'm a single mother. I want to optimize people's health and get them to thrive at their full potential. Back to the energy thing, I'm able to just absorb all the good.
Right.
And I actually my battery can recharge off most people's energies.
That's awesome.
And I love it.
Yeah. So, it seems like you go into work on a high energy and a high vibration. And what we know for our experiences in lives and how we look at energy and vibrations is that you attract the energy that you're putting out.
Yes.
And a lot of people are not willing to believe in such things. And that's fine. Everyone has their own opinions about everything. I strongly believe that you do attract what you put out, and you need to put out more of what you want in order to receive it.
Absolutely. I'm an advocate for, how do you say this? I'm not acting in alignment, so I was repelling what I wanted to attract, if that makes sense. I wanted so many things, but I wasn't in alignment with my true self, or I was just not taking care of myself. If self-love is the best love. So if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to be able to attract the things that you want.
It's a common theme on here lately with our guests is the discussion of self-love, which is absolutely important. was unable to do that myself in most of my life in my younger years. I was a completely different individual back then. And now that I've educated myself on so many different things, primarily traveling around the world has taught me the most. And being aware of the possibilities of what the universe can offer has opened up my mind to allow me to understand that there are more things out there than just what we were programmed to believe.
Absolutely. I mean, opening the mind is great. There is a lot of, it's not their fault that they're closed minded, narrow minded people. They are knowing what they have been taught, how they grew up. It's like a computer you have or a phone. You have to update your phone or re-download. Everything that you're thinking is not the same way like it used to be. They said money was the root of all evil, and that's not true. Money is the root of all happiness. And they say money doesn't grow on trees, and it absolutely grows on trees. It fucking grows on trees. You know
It's
what
a
I'm saying?
fucking tree, absolutely.
And you need money. Happiness comes from within, but you need money to live the lavish lifestyle that we all deserve to live. If we want to go and travel, we have to have the money to spend it, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So,
And
I
even
mean,
if you're traveling in a modest way,
right.
which is a lot of people that I've met on my travels around the world were doing it at $7, $18 a night hostels, and they were having a great time. But even at that, most of these people, because I was on a journey for about 8 months, and a lot of these people were on for like 4 months, 6 months, 7 months. So when you go extended period of time and you're spending $15 on a hostel, it doesn't sound like a lot, but times that by 30 days.
That's a
Now
lot.
times that by 90 days if you did a 3-month trip. Plus you have to get from place to place. You have to eat, you have to drink, like, and that's not even doing excursions or adventuring around the country that you've gone
It's
to.
a lot.
It does. So money is needed. It absolutely is. I just don't believe that it is something that we should allow our lives to be revolved around. You seem like the individual who is aware that if they are individuals who do not appreciate you, you take yourself away from that
Yeah,
situation.
I have to do that now.
Yeah.
Because it won't be good for me.
It's not good for anybody. I think that's a huge lesson that people can understand or hopefully will learn younger in their years is
Hopefully.
that when you are around systemic people,
Right.
that you're feeding off of their energy as much as they're feeding off of yours. And if you keep yourself in that arena, you can't expect yourself to grow as an individual. But let's step away from what we believe. You won't succeed in your life if you stay around those who are pulling you down by the way they talk.
You'll be blocked. You won't be you'll be on a path, but you'll be veering on the wrong side from the path that you're currently supposed to be on.
Yeah. I wish, like, I'm happy that we're in the time in which we are, because I'm really enjoying the whole social media and the way that you can become your own. You can become an entrepreneur a lot easier nowadays than you could have beforehand. And it was very hard for people in generations before us. And I say this like the hippies, because I resonate with them, right? Like my mom always said that I was born in the wrong era. And that was just obviously an energy that I gave off as a young person. She picked up on that. Now, all of those people back then in the 50s and 60s were speaking about all of this stuff that is now more visible and more audio available. And it's unfortunate that they didn't have the platforms that we now have, because we can sit with each other, like-minded people, and have these conversations and give it out to the audience who's willing to listen or who may be intrigued to hear more about it, and create a larger community quicker than back then, because they didn't have the same media outlets as we do now.
So you said your mother said you were a hippie, or you felt like just because...
No, my mom apologized to me a couple times.
Well,
Says, I'm sorry you were born in the wrong era.
Well, I'll explain why she thinks that. One, I was just listening to some things about your spirit could be older than your mother. So the spirit that enters your body when you're born can be older than the mother you're coming out of. And apparently, I don't know how many times, maybe one, maybe hundreds, I felt older than my time. And apparently, I guess when you feel like that, you possibly have been reincarnated.
Okay, interesting. Great segue. I like this.
Now I 110% believe that, because I always hear physical body with a spirit inside. So when we die, our physical bodies die and our spirit goes somewhere else. I believe that.
And reversely, you could say it's a spiritual being with a physical But it can go both ways, right? Because it's true on both sides. There is a outer shell and there is an inner shell. I don't care what anyone else says. It's what I believe. There's enough of us out there that believe it. Therefore, it must be true in my opinion.
Absolutely.
I'm the type of individual, I need to see it to believe. I can't disregard it just because I haven't seen it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like my faith that I was brought up in may or may not believe in reincarnation, but me as an individual, as a soul spirit, it's hard for me to think that it's not possible. And a belief system that I have is that you keep going round and round and round, and you keep learning and learning and learning. And the more you feel like you've been around is probably true, but you just haven't learned everything that you need to yet.
Right.
Because there's a theory that when you're born, you have all the answers. It's given to you, and then you're quieted.
Yes.
Right. So I don't disregard that thought. I think it's possible because when you're born, you are this beautiful miracle, right? And then you go through your life being told no, 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 no. Right. Kid jumps up on the coffee. No, get down.
Right.
And right away that triggers something in the head. At a small infant that you don't even know how their brain's working, that's a stop right there.
It could be bad starting that at a young age. Absolutely.
We're not going to get into the whole parenting thing because I'm not a parent. Not we might get into it later. But my thought on the reincarnation is that if you have a feeling inside of you that maybe you've been around this before, there's a possibility that you have. And the more times you go around the cycle, you're allowed to remember a bit more so that when you come around the second time, fourth time, 50th time, you have a bit easier way of navigating through it because you have that knowledge still. But when you don't do it right the first couple times, you come back without any of that knowledge. In life, you're given a name, you're given a religion, you're given so many things at such a young age that you don't get to choose for yourself.
No.
But I moved away, not from my religion, I just moved away from religion as I left the house at 19. And I always said to myself, I'm more of a spiritual person when I talk to people because I believe in a lot of things. And I do believe that, all religions believe in all the same good things. Don't kill, don't steal, respect your elders, all the things that make sense that any human should do anyways for another human. I no longer say that I'm a spiritual person. I believe in God because I have faith.
Right. Absolutely.
Right? And I was brought back into my faith from a friend of mine who is a Christian. I'm still Jewish. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but I don't want to be on one side or the other. I just want to have faith.
No, everybody, it's the law of one. Honestly, there's so many religions, but they're all praying to the same one being. It's one creator. Jesus is within us. It's called Christ consciousness. It's the highest vibration, which is your seventh chakra. It's right up here. And then you have right under is the pineal gland. So at 12 years old, going back to when you're being born, at 12 years old, your pineal gland becomes calcified due to fluoride and whatever's in the water that we drink. It does have, pH and minerals, but it also has chemicals. Like right now, the water we're drinking is horrible. So by the age of 12, it's calcified. But, we go throughout our whole childhood, then we go through high school, college, and then we get 20s, 30s, and now I'm in my 40s. So now I'm more aware of my third eye. Really coming into it now because I'm a huge fan of Dolores Cannon. She is all about the new earth. She is thriving in her 80s.
Okay.
So I follow her. She cures people from cancer.
Wow.
Fear is a disease. A lot of people have fear. You either can operate from fear or from love. You can't operate from both. So I just, I always knew I had something, but I'm just happy that I can actually get on this podcast and finally get it out to the world.
Yeah.
So I'm really
pumped.
Well,
I appreciate it because it's these conversations that I hold very dear to my heart is when people can sit and truly be themselves and just have a conversation about what's important to them, regardless what other people may think, say, or do about them.
I love it.
Yeah. You obviously follow the life of consciousness. Was it always that way when you were younger?
No. I was very sensitive, emotional, needy. I was bullied. I was made fun of. I didn't understand why girls could be so cruel at a young age.
You mentioned bullying. It's most of us were bullied when we were kids. And I find it interesting because it's like there were so many of us. Because now, like in an older age, people talk about their high school times or whatever. And some people had the most amazing time. Most people say, "Oh no, I got bullied, I got picked on, I got beat up." How the hell did they all do that if there were so many of us that weren't the bully?
So it's crazy. So all the things that I went through, I had to be a force because I literally was popular, but I was hated, but I was humble and I was nice. I got in fights, but I had to be provoked so hard to where I physically had to finally start using my guns. I'm like,
Really?
okay, yeah. I'm just like, what, let's just take it to the park. Let's just do
Yeah.
this.
Let's just finish it for once. Isn't it crazy though how like I've noticed that I've taken myself out of a lot of situations. Like I just like don't deal with certain things anymore. But high school just never ends. They're like people just will always talk shit.
Right.
And it's I don't know if they don't realize that they're doing it because there's some people that's what they do every day. And
I can
they just
elaborate. And
okay.
I can. Only because I've come into contact with this within the last 3 years. Jealous and envy.
Okay.
I would have spiritualists constantly reach out to me on Instagram that I would have to block. And I'm like, I really appreciate your advice. I have a spiritualist, I have a Reiki master. If I need help, I will go to her. I'm the creator of my own reality. I have no evil eyes on me. I don't accept, because they would tell me, you have jealous eyes, you have envious eyes all around you. Be careful. And, I can't control things all the time, but it's a sickness, the envy and jealous, when I just want to be everybody's friend, but it's just within themselves.
But you can't
Right.
be
Of
because
course.
unfortunately there's a large population of people. There's the what 7 deadly sin:
Right.
jealousy, envy,
Mhm.
gluttony.
Mhm.
Like these are a thing because
Right.
we all hold all of these emotions inside of us.
Absolutely.
And as we get older, if we take the time to look within ourselves, we can pinpoint what they are, when they come out, and we can make that conscious decision
Right.
to do something about it so that they don't constantly happen. I always say the only thing we have control over in our lives is our reaction to our emotions.
Absolutely.
And once you start realizing that, you can notice them when they come up. I'm not a perfect fucking human being. I get mad, I get angry, I get jealous. They come up, they just happen. But when they do, I'm able to realize that they're happening and kind of within split seconds evaluate the situation and make the choice not to further it.
I just did that. I don't know if it was today or the other day. And I've been seeing Rolls Royce everywhere I go now. And everywhere I go, I'm like, oh, that's for me. That's for me. Because, who knows? Maybe I'll be driving a Rolls Royce one day. But I'm not going to lie. I do get a little bit envious, because I'm like, okay, I'm driving my Corolla and I love my Corolla. But, I know the universe is preparing me for opportunities that I'm going to receive, and I have to do all the work to get to that status. And I believe I will,
I agree with you 1,000 points. The biggest thing for me is I don't want to miss out on enjoying this moment. That I agree with you. I am the creator of everything I'm going to have. There's an artist that my friend TJ put me onto called Russ.
Okay.
And he sings about manifestation and lives his life to it and talks about how he did it for years before he became and has everything he has now because he chose to see it and believe it.
Right.
And I'm also on that same page. I know what I'm going to have 10 years from now, but I'm not going to rush the process because I don't want to get there, right, in 10 years and not be able to look back and say, but I enjoyed all of the steps it took,
Right.
all of the struggle, all of the planning, all of the sacrificing that it took to get to the Rolls Royce or
Right.
to whatever it is that you're wanting in your future.
I have a few goals.
Yeah, I have millions of goals. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to take over the world. There's no question about it.
Me too.
But
I'm coming for the crown.
Yeah, but I want to help as many people as I can while
Me
I'm
too.
doing it.
Exactly.
And in the process, I want to enjoy every moment that happens for me. So I've been trying to practice regularly staying present in the moment that I have.
Yes.
And not worrying as much about tomorrow.
Right.
And absolutely trying to let go of
the past.
Everything in
That
the past.
I will elaborate on that now.
Please do. Go ahead.
So every month we have a moon. Every month we have a new moon. We have a full moon. And the new moon is for setting intentions, setting goals, but putting them out there to the universe when it is the new moon, because that's the best time to do it. And then going back to, excuse me, releasing the past. So that's what no longer serves a purpose in your life anymore. So a lot of people bring up the past, and a lot of people worry about the past, and a lot of people will worry about the future and their finances, but it's not really doing them any good, because like you said, you want to enjoy the process until you get to that billionaire status.
And thank you for saying that, because that's 100% where I'm going. Absolutely.
I made a goal, and I heard someone or my friends say, don't tell everybody, but I'm not. But I'm going to get to that billionaire status, so.
I agree with you. There's a lot of people out there on social media that say that, the worst thing to do with a great idea is tell a bunch of people that don't have the same mindset as you. So I'm not sharing all of my ideas of what I'm going to be doing. But I am sharing the fact that I believe in myself and that I'm going to accomplish everything I want to do
to get there.
And in 10 years, I am going to have the successes that I want, and I'm going to be able to take care of my mother better. I've already told her, like, you're going to be around for at least 20 or 30 more years because you need to see your son become exactly what he says he's going to be.
I told my mom that. I'm like, you need to be you need to be here a lot longer as well. So once I get to the status I want to be, trust me, I'm going to do whatever I can to take care of you too. I might not be able to do it now, but I will.
I told my mom the other day, we were talking on the phone, and I share a lot on the podcast, like what I say in my gratitude list in the mornings, and I have a gratitude list, I have a prayer, I have 3 different things that take me about 10 or 12 minutes to kind of recite every day, and it switches every day a little bit, everything kind of gets different, but I constantly say that, like, I give thanks to God for allowing my mother, and I say her name, to stay physically and mentally healthy long enough in order to see my company become the success that it is. But furthermore, the success it's going to become in order for her to come on all the talk show tours with me.
Nice.
Because I want to be that person that's on like whatever show, because it's now happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I get to point at my mom and be like, and like I said so many times on my podcast, I mean, how can you not? Like, I grew up in a household where I had both parents, okay, first off. Fortunate, like you wouldn't believe, from the aspect of I had 2 parents that loved me my whole life. My dad and I didn't get along when I was a child. We are the same person. He passed on in 2017. We didn't see eye to eye growing up, but once I left home, I understood all of the lessons he was teaching me. And then he became my confidant.
Nice.
Everything in my life that I needed advice on, he's who I called to find out about it. My mother growing up was my protector. She always made sure I was safe. She always took care of it. The amount of caring that I saw come from my mother is what I expect a mother should do. And it breaks my heart when I find out people don't have a mother like that. And so absolutely, I want to repay her for 19 years of putting up with my shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm well aware of the kind of kid I was. I was not easy.
My son is a Sagittarius, so I know. He's December 17.
I'm the 16th.
You guys are very independent, and no one tells you what to do.
Fuck no.
If you learn, you're learning on your own. If you win or fail, you're going to find out on your own.
Yeah, and I failed all on my own my entire high school career, let me tell you. 100%. Like, I chose not to do fucking anything in school. And that's why I don't have a distaste for schooling. I just don't like the way it was done when I went. Geography? Okay, sure, I guess I could know a little bit more. But you know how I know geography a lot better now? Because I went and traveled. And I know where these places are now because I physically went to them. Like schools should definitely do, when you're in the higher grades of high school, there should be more exchange student programs accessible for people so that they can go abroad somewhere and see what other cultures are
That's
about.
cool.
Absolutely. Because if you don't, like I know people that have never left their state, their province, their country, they don't have a passport.
Me.
Are
I don't have a passport.
you fucking kidding me?
No passport.
You've never gone anywhere?
Not outside the country.
You've just broken my heart.
I know, no passport.
It's like $110 to get your passport, like, and that's like paying extra to get it done in a week.
I'm gonna put it on my bucket list. Okay.
Yeah, put it on the tomorrow list.
Like this 2024.
Yeah, no, like tomorrow list. Not
Tomorrow?
it takes you 15 minutes
Really?
online.
Okay.
15 minutes. You got a
15
credit
minutes?
card.
Okay.
That little book gives you so much freedom.
My son travels.
And being that you're from America, like I'm Canadian, right? So like the North American passports, Canada and America, you're pretty much good to go to like 90% of all countries without problems. And to get like a visa somewhere, I'm talking really abroad, like we can go to each other's countries for long periods of time, no problem. To go to like somewhere like India, Thailand, like you can get a 3-month visa just by going online and filling it out before you go. And there's nothing better. There's no better educator than travel. It wasn't until I was 29 that I took a trip not by myself, but with a couple of friends, which is the pinnacle moment that propelled me into where I am now, which is always going to be a lifetime memory for me. And the two people I went with, you know, even though I don't see them or talk to them regularly, they're in my heart forever because that trip changed my entire trajectory. Yeah. But you got to get your passport. I've even I
never even been on a cruise.
I mean, I've never been on a cruise either, but I work on yachts. So it's like I'm on a boat all the time.
Oh,
so
cool.
I don't really want to go on a cruise.
You love the ocean.
I absolutely love the ocean. The yachting industry is an interesting one to be in, to have as a career. And I've done it for 16 years.
What do you do?
I'm a private chef.
Oh,
Yeah.
food. Oh, I love food. Yummy.
So the private yacht chefing that I do pays for all of my things. My business, my mom, everything that I put my money into comes from that stuff. And again, I'm doing the whole 9 to 5 to pay for my 5 to 9 until my 5 to 9 becomes my 24/7. And that's the big goal, is just keep chipping away every day at what it is that you love to do. Don't let anyone tell you that it's not going to happen or that you shouldn't do it or it's impossible.
I know.
I mean, fucking 1 year ago, I decided to start a podcast. Okay. I now have my own studio.
Nice.
It's like a big thing in 1 year.
Well, because you believed it and because you aligned with your true self and you are your true authentic self. So you are going to get your manifestations.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I was manifesting for so long, but I wasn't getting anything.
Okay.
But now I'm
Why do you think that was? Why, like, if you were manifesting regularly, why do you think you were not receiving?
Because I wasn't taking care of myself the way I should have been. I wasn't caring about the whole, going back to the self-love.
Right.
If you don't take care of yourself, you will not receive what you're meant to receive. If you just stay in your head, think about thoughts, what could be, what should be, about this past thought, about what's going to happen in the future, you never can align with your true self, so where you can receive what you're meant to receive. So I just was like, I don't know, like I'll just compare something, like say you're dating someone and you're just caring about hanging out with that person or being with that person, you're going to attract what you don't want. Stop being so fucking needy.
I couldn't agree more with you because I was in a 3-year on and off again relationship where that was me. I absolutely didn't care about anything else but spending time with the person. And now that I look back at it, yeah, I was too much because I always wanted to be there. I always wanted to be at that house. I always wanted to be with the person. I always wanted to go out all the time. But I was doing nothing for myself.
Exactly.
Like nothing in my life.
Nothing.
Like everything in my life was, I won't say everything in my life was shit because I had a great job that paid well.
Right.
And I had both my parents were alive, so I wasn't taking care of anyone else's bills. I didn't have a company, wasn't taking care of that. So all of the income I had like a cell phone bill and I was getting paid bank.
Nice.
So like, but I was unhappy in life because that's what I was doing.
Right.
And as soon as I moved away from that situation, and now I'm not perfect at it because I'm still trying to do more for what is healthy for me.
Yes.
And I still trip a few times
into the habits of the old thinking.
into the things that I know I shouldn't be doing.
Right.
Right. Like it's a silly thing. Like last night, the day was done. I put in a lot of work for the day, and I go home to the compound. I'm the early to bed guy. That's just me because I'm the early up guy. I'm up 5 o'clock, and I usually go to bed, let's say in my bed, sleeping by 10 p.m. because I only need 6 hours, 7 hours of rest. I prefer the 6 because I get more done. But last night, long story long, I get out of the shower and I have a choice. I could go to bed, which is what I would normally do because any other day I would. Or I could go and watch a movie with my roommate and you're just hanging out. You're just there, but we have a good friendship where like you don't need to talk every fucking second of the day. And I knew what was going to happen. I knew if I laid on that couch, I would get into whatever movie was going to be put on and watch the whole thing. And then by the time I went to bed, it was going to be late. And I knew how the day was like. I knew exactly how my day was going to go, my energy level and where it was going to be, what I wouldn't get accomplished because of the way days roll out. And sure as shit, 100% correct. So that's like a little trip there where like, I know what I wasn't going to accomplish before I even sat down to watch that movie. But at the same time, I wanted to because it's like I haven't just sat and watched a movie for a while.
I know.
I've just been doing this constantly. But the more that you pay attention to what is good and healthy for you, and the more that transpires into self-love,
yes.
then the more good that's going to come your way that you're trying to accomplish.
Yes. And I wasn't accomplishing jack shit. I'm like, okay, I'm going to just do what I have to do. Take care of my skin, take care of my hair, take care of my body, do the best I can. I'm struggling to get on a routine. Sometimes I'm all over the place, but I live in an environment, which I will be moving out within the next couple of months. I've been back home with my mom for 2.5 years. I don't do like hard drugs like, cocaine or anything like that anymore.
I gave all that stuff. I was very fortunate that I did not have Jiminy Cricket on my shoulder when I was younger.
Okay.
I never knew what no was when someone asked me if I wanted to try something. So, I was in high school trying shit. By the time I was 21, I had already tried 99% of what hard stuff I would do in my life. But by the time I was 25, I was done with it all.
Right. I did the same thing. The only thing I didn't do was crack, but everything else I did.
Yeah, I can definitely say I never shot up heroin.
No, like mushrooms.
Mushrooms, ecstasy, acid,
all that stuff.
cocaine, like just all the normal drugs.
All the norm.
Like
the basics.
how weird that's normal. But yeah, that's part of life as well. And not that my parents ever didn't say don't do it.
Of course.
It's just it was my journey, and I did that for a long period of time. And I was a drug dealer when I was in my 20s, and it all shaped me into who I am now, and it allowed me to experiment and experience life in a way. And I'm just glad I did it when I was young.
Got to experiment.
Yeah.
You went through all the stages in life.
Yeah.
That was one of them.
And it was quick. Yeah. It wasn't that long, thankfully, because a lot of people can go down those roads and stay down them for a long time. My group of friends have lost a couple of people to drugs. It's always, you kind of like get taken back for a second because you're like, well, fuck, I used to do the same shit. Right. Or fuck, I used to do that with them. Right. And, why? Well, that's a whole other conversation. But when you take care of your temple, both mind, body, and soul, or all three, not both.
Absolutely.
You will definitely see a huge difference in your progression forward.
I'm loving it. I love progressing. I never was elevated as much as I've been. I haven't really talked about my boyfriend, but he has. So basically, I've shown him love. He showed me self-love. So he takes care of himself amazingly. And
amazing.
I never have seen a man take care of themselves so much. But I love that because now I've learned about self-love. I wasn't a big person about it. And now I'm like, wow, that's a huge thing in really getting the things that you want. You have to take care of yourself. so you can take care of everybody else.
And I'm a strong believer that we are here to help other people.
Right.
Right. You were not. I always say that there's two types of selfishness. There's negative selfishness and positive selfishness. Negative selfishness is when you're doing things selfishly that's going to harm other people and
Right.
you know it. And positive selfishness is when you take care of yourself in order so that you can help other people.
Right. I mean, we have to be good. We have to be 110 for the kids. If we're not healthy, if our minds, if we're stressed, have anxiety, depressed, anything, it's going to reflect on family members or your children or your spouse. I'm just happy I know what I know. I'm happy
Yeah.
I'm aware and conscious of the things I know now. I feel older in my mind, but young in my heart. So
Isn't it interesting, though, how for me, it didn't happen until I was close to my 40s.
me too.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I was very negative. I had a chip on my shoulder until early-ish on into my 30s.
Were you like moody?
I would, if I were someone else looking at me, I would probably say, yeah, I probably was because people had said that.
Right. And probably just an emotion you just didn't.
I didn't know how to navigate through
Absolutely.
any of it. Like I can say that now because I know how to navigate my emotions.
Right. But before,
like as a 20-year-old,
it was hard.
I could honestly say I was very naive and unaware of a lot of things that one would think they would be aware of in life.
And did you feel like you thought you knew a lot of things and then you found out that it wasn't the things that you thought?
I believe that when I was in my 20s, I was more worldly than most around me, but I couldn't express any of it because I was so worried about the way in which I would be interpreted. Because back then, I really did care too much.
You cared about what people thought?
Oh, absolutely.
And my son is the same way.
My hair and what I was wearing and all of that absolute fucking bullshit. No, absolutely. I speak volumes now about zero fucks giving. Okay.
Of course.
I couldn't give a flying fuck anymore what people think, say, or do about me because it's not their fucking opinion that matters.
Yeah, I have people having an opinion about me. The ego is one thing and then the soul is another. I would always go back to saying to this specific person, it was a friend, that the ego was so big and the soul was non-existent. So you have to turn one off to have the other. So you can't be full of soul if your ego switches on. You have to
just get rid of the ego. I'm just like, listen, I'm just going to say it. Get rid of the ego.
Yes.
Life is going to be a lot better for you.
Absolutely.
It's just like, I went a great portion of my life being an egotistical individual that thought I was better than others because of whatever situation I may have been in or way I was brought up or whatever. And then my eyes got opened to the lack thereof throughout the entire world when I went traveling by myself. And it deflated a lot of that ego. Like when I came back from a trip around the world,
you were different.
I did 8 months, 25 countries. And when I came back from that trip, I mean, I was the best version of me that I've ever been.
Well, the vibe was different. You weren't here. It's very toxic in South Florida.
It took a month. It took a month of being back here, going back to work and falling back into like not that person.
Right.
And since then, that was 2016 when I got back, I've always been trying to remember and hold on and become the best version of that person again, which I am getting to while still doing all the normal things like work and socializing and all that.
It's not easy. It's a full-on fledged full-time job. You have to work on yourself harder than you would your job. I'm quoting a motivational speaker. I don't remember who it is, but yes.
Well, it's very true facts though, right? I mean, if we put as much effort into ourselves as we did into our jobs, because we're told that you have to have that job and make that money, get the house, the 3.2 kids or 2.8 kids, whatever the fuck it is, the white picket fence. If we put a large portion of that effort into ourselves daily, all that other stuff would show up a lot quicker and a lot easier.
I know they don't teach you that in school. You have to learn that after you've grown up.
Isn't that unfortunate though? Like you said, you
It
have
is
you have a
very.
couple of kids or one kid or
One.
one child,
Mhm.
and you get to witness all of that now secondhand after going through it yourself.
Yep.
Now you have an 11-year-old who's in the system, being taught, I'm sure, the same shit.
To take tests, and homework is such a big thing, and getting grades in 5th grade is such a big thing, but it doesn't count because if you pass the test, you pass the grade.
Touched on the topic of schooling a couple times in this podcast. It's just been done wrong. You know, we've never been taught the things that we should in order to become successful human beings and successful in business.
We're not taught to be entrepreneurs, to believe in ourselves. You have kids that are actually wanting to work at a young age, so they have a money mindset, or they have get the bag mindset. I have that in my mind. I'm like, get that bag. Now
Absolutely.
I didn't have that mindset, but I want to get the
When
bag.
I think about what I was doing in high school or younger, that if I had just been taught something, you know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Like I could have earned $10 a driveway if I just went out to my neighbors and said, "Do you want me to shovel your driveway?" Like as a kid, as a 10-year-old kid,
Do chores.
right? $10 a driveway. You could have knocked out 5 driveways probably in like after school till bedtime, made $50. And as a child at 10 years old in 1987, making $50 in one evening.
That's huge.
That would have been massive,
Right.
you know? And then that could have transpired into, and I'm just going to go this route, that could have transpired into the following season, being that I was born in Canada, into some kind of flowering or landscaping. You know what I'm
Who
saying?
knows?
Like by the time you're in high school, you could have had multiple vehicles,
Right.
multiple friends working. Like you could have had, like you could be 20 years old and already have made a few $100,000. But no one tells you that shit.
I didn't learn anything in high school. I didn't learn one thing, and I was so bored. And I slept, and I didn't learn anything.
I was stoned half the time, so I definitely slept in class.
I smoked every day,
Yeah.
probably in high school.
I just didn't care. I occasionally went to class. That was it. So, but again, I don't, as much as I harp on the school system that I grew up in, that I wish it had been different to have taught me things that would have gotten me to where I am.
Me
I'm still
too.
very happy at how I got here. Life is interesting. It's the most difficult game anyone will ever play. As much as you might know at the end, you don't get to take most of it with you if you do come back, if that's something that happens.
Right.
So it's just play as hard as you can, be as nice as you can. That's my belief.
Right.
And love yourself as much as you can so that you can have an easier time doing it. That's my belief.
I believe.
Mm-hmm. I believe. Ronaldo, shout out Ronaldo. This kid always would say, "Just believe." And I've taken it with me since I met that kid, probably almost 10 years ago.
I always say it. If you can believe it, you can achieve it. It's all.
And isn't it funny? Because as a kid, you would make fun of people that said that
Right.
shit. And now you like really wholeheartedly do believe it.
Yes.
And I do, because anything good in my life that has happened because I undoubtedly believed in it. And anything that didn't happen was because I didn't believe in it enough.
Yeah, I'm working on that. I'm working on taking the visualization and the feeling and putting them together, because when you can do that, you're experiencing the desire. That's also when your manifestations will come quicker.
Do you know who Rob Dyrdek is? He has a podcast now, and he talks about how he is I think he said he's like a 49, he's close to my age, year old man who has a vision board.
Yes.
And I loved it that I heard him say that. I was like, I visualize all the time. I mentally pray. I do all of these things, but I've never actually cut things out and paste them on a board anywhere.
Right.
And last night, because I came across this reel again where he said this, I was like, motherfucker, like, why don't I do that? Like, I have all these visions, I have all these wants and desires, and I just haven't physically made a vision board.
Wanted to try that last year for this year, but it's never too late. They have vision boards where you can cut out things and make your own, physically do that, or you can actually do it online where you're creating I don't know the term they called it, but it's placing all these photos and videos together, so where you have like it's the same vision board, but it's on the computer. Believing is key.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I go to bed at night, like, I shower before I go to bed and I look in the mirror and I'm very happy with that person. And I'm like, dude,
Yay.
you had a successful day. So anyone that can try and say that I'm not successful can go fuck themselves.
But a lot of people can't okay, so a lot of people can't stand in the mirror and do that.
And a lot of people go to bed and it's hard for them to go to sleep because there's so much shit going on in their brain. I fucking put my head down. I'm out.
Me too.
I'm out.
I
I'm just
don't-
like, thanks God for the day I had. I appreciate everything you did for me. I appreciate everything that I don't even know that you did. I
Gratitude.
appreciate the shit you took away that I didn't need.
Right.
Peace. I'm going to sleep.
Yes.
That's it.
I have no problem going to sleep.
Yeah. Well, dear, I want to say thank you very much. It's been an absolute delight, a very wonderful conversation, very comfortable, very flowing.
Honestly, this was the most chill, relaxed place to be. I felt comfortable. You made me feel comfortable. I'm very happy.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Thank
Wonderful.
you so
Thank
much.
you so much for coming and sharing your thoughts on energy
Yay.
and consciousness and everything else that we talked about today. For all of my lifers out there, as I do every week, I want to say thank you. You guys keep coming back and helping us grow our community. So remember, every week, Tuesday at 2, we are here on the Lyfe Choyces podcast. If you want to reach out to Jennifer here, you can. Her in the description below. All of her information is there. We will see you here next week, Tuesday at 2 on the Lyfe Choyces podcast. Much love, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen.
You are now about
The journey, life choices.